Hey guys, how are you doing, dude? Today we're back with those ones that I love to narrate. Because they're so good for telling stories, so good for cracking jokes. This one's from that niche you already know. I bring all of them. I waited, because this one just dropped. It's new. I waited for 10, 11 chapters to make a longer video, right? And here we are, the end. So without further ado, let's go. The badass this time starts in bed, son. And by the black outfit in the bed next to him, you already know the first victim was taken down. Wake up, your girl's right there, damn. What am I doing in a hotel? Why am I not in my own bed? Looking to the side, he's already wondering, whoa, what's this wild beauty doing here? Was my night wild too? That's what they call exhausting. He checks his phone and immediately remembers this is the girl who dumped him. Back when he was just a hotshot in university, Camila Toledo. So why aren't you saying anything? You think of the stud, huh? You're not mad? I'm gonna finish you off. Whoa, you're not getting any of this. What's going on with this crazy girl? She had blocked him on WhatsApp. So what's she saying, like they still met up? He decides to check his phone and quickly sees the date was in the past, right? It's the famous reincarnation, folks. The day says John Chong. You're way too slow with gifts. That's why you don't deserve the love I have to offer. Now disappear. You're making this situation weird. The little guy almost joined the bald crew, tearing his hair out in anger. He thought she loved him and they'd be together forever. But now, back on the scene, he's getting the messages he expected. As always, she was asking for gifts with the same drama. Back then, he was blind in love and didn't even respect himself, dude. But now in his life, he's going to respect himself. And he already says, I miss you. We're done. She, confused, wants to know, John Chong. What are you talking about, man? You think you're going to break up with me? He replies, are you going crazy, kid? I break up with you whenever I want. Bye. She wants to know why, saying, you better give a reason, or she's going to get pissed. The protagonist just says they're not compatible, and that's it, kid. Bye. She, however, is sure. He's going to come back begging for forgiveness later, and it's best not to be crying at her feet. Damn, the protagonist reveals that, in a past life, she cheated twice. Poor thing, she really got played. Then the real protagonist of the story shows up, right, kid? The famous system. The protector is looking up, with that face like he got abandoned in the supermarket by his dad, wanting to know what the hell this is about. He gets up to take a look. We see the badass is 18 years old, but looks like 85. Damn, kid. Already wiped out. Life needed more. What? But now he's going to earn 0.1 cents per second, or $8,000 per day. The badass gets excited because clearly this system pays by the second. He won't have to do anything else besides that. He got an initial clip, and the moment he decides to open it, a yellow brick falls on the table. It's $10 million to start a car, and the ability to scan people's friendships. The money part is kind of obvious, but he doesn't understand, right, what this power to analyze is about. Hey, artist, you used all your willpower to throw this white glow at me. Get lost, old man. And the guy immediately tests this so-called friendship analysis. The tough one's name is U Aircom. Wow, what an ugly little name. 25 years old. 1 meter and 50 centimeters tall and 93 in appearance, man. We're already starting off strong in this business, huh? Besides that, her friendship level is at 60, which is kind of normal, the little plate. But she doesn't understand what's written there, the privacy value. He decides to click to see what it is, and finds out it's the number of people that person has been involved with in life. Wow, this is the dream of the red pill crowd, right? And the little plate is they're confused, man. That means it's the number of people she's had relations with, and the number was probably there, right? He was the first in that. We see him calling the sucker Zelda at the bar. And obviously, she doesn't answer. The cuckold really leaves nothing for Batinia. But he found the fierce one there crying too. Both had drunk a lot. Maybe that's why, even with friendship being low, he managed to score a goal there. The girl wakes up confused and scared. Obviously, right, kid? There's a psycho staring like a dog looking at chicken in the market. And she asks why he's standing there like a sick person. If he was regretful or smiling. He turns around and says that actually, he was remembering what happened. She wants to know why he's sighing. So, in the middle of the night, oh man, talk about the tough stuff. Kid, he said he regrets not having met her earlier, strangely. The system gives him the skill, quick tongue at max level. Increases the strength of all the muscle cells in his tongue. And gives him unmatched flexibility and strength, apparently. We discovered the little system that the pitted eye had, dude, and the boy decides to put the weapon to the test there, right, man? He already used the strongest muscle in the body, and apparently that's the secret. Guys, because the girl said he's really good at kissing. It's completely different. You guys are starting to work out that tongue of yours, huh? Oh man, how are you guys going to train that, huh? Good luck with that. At least the rookie already went for breakfast. And sometime later, he wakes up in bed with the money beside him. Wow, he's as confused as I am, right? Wondering if he was treated like a damn kid. The girl even left 10,011 and said the night was worth every penny. The rookie is thinking that crazy girl had her first time with him and even paid for it. He really wasn't all there upstairs. It was just a shame he couldn't get her number. Then he sees that critical card he got. At that moment might multiply between 1 and 50 times what he spends, as long as it's less than 100,000 Chinese coins, which isn't a lot. The rookie, however, is excited since he was sent back to the past. With this system, he wants to become the tycoon of this world. The good part is that, since he's in the past, he knows certain companies that will become prominent, and the first thing he has to do is save enough money to buy shares of those startups. Have you seen those? Bears standing still by the water, waiting for fish to pass? Man, that's me brave on the bait, bro. It's the hot girl next to the fancy car, waiting for the owner to arrive. The rookie is there thinking about real estate, making money, whatever, when suddenly the hunter blows a kiss, asking if that's the cool guy's car. The rookie looks over, says, "Man, a crazy chick just showed up, right?" He says yes. So what's up? The girl straight up asks if he can take her to a certain place because she urgently needs to get home, but because the app says the pipes in her kitchen are all clogged. Damn, man. This one's direct for real. The rookie activates the friendship scanner. Yeah, sees her name is Chainlink. But the girl's privacy is 28. Damn, man. Even though friendship is 90%, the girl here, is accessible, let's say. Even the doorman is shocked, and he's confused by that 90% friendship. It was kind of excessive for them to have just met. He ignores it and gets into the car, a bit confused, and do what you will. She gives him a scolding, saying that 28 brothers have already unclogged her kitchen pipes, so she can call the other guy next time. What the hell, girl, she even left. Leaving smoke behind, the sucker is there, wondering how the hell he knows she has 28 exes. She's there all sad, saying it's not every day you find someone handsome with money, when an old man in the corner overhears what she's saying, and he comes over. "Hey, I heard you, miss. I heard you say you were having problems with your pipes, and I want to introduce myself. I have 30 years of professional experience." But she already tells the pervert to get lost. The old man is confused. "Hey, miss, that cute little guy wouldn't be able to fix your pipes. I can handle this here." She tells that bastard to get away, saying he's annoying her. Meanwhile, the guys around are laughing, man, I don't get why. And one guy said, "Old man, you don't understand. It's not the pipes that are the problem. She wants other things unclogged." He takes a look, thinking, damn, youth these days really move fast, while she gave a little kick like an idiot. Now it's broken in size. Meanwhile, our little guy already went to the real estate office. He stopped with a fancy car, but the dude there kept thinking, here comes another one of those kids who takes his dad's car, just to mess around and be a pain. Here the little guy gets out of the car, like a Max Steel action figure in that pose. And the receptionist girl there, sees that the dude is staring. That is, she's going to have to deal with this on her own. She was a bit insecure, but introduces herself as Miss Chia and asks, right, how she can help him. The guy asks for a bucket of fries. Obviously, right? The bastard is here to look at houses, so yeah. Oh my God, I wish I was working at a real estate agency. She's being all sweet, showing him everything, while the guy who ignored her just apologizes to the poor girl. This business world was cruel, and first she has to learn how to filter clients. So, she's showing one of the houses that was one of the best and most compact. The price was quite reasonable, and it was one of the popular models. What do you think, sir? However, John says to ignore that one, that he's interested in those close to 1 million. She starts looking, saying she understands. But right? If he has any preferences, he says he wants those that are easy to rent out. He doesn't want anything unfinished, and a good renovated house is also fine. The guy already noticed from her hesitation, she seemed kind of new to this place. Even though the communication was basic, the good part is that she doesn't have any sales tactics yet, so it's all kind of sincere, I thought. She's 19 years old, 1.63 meters tall, and 90 in appearance. Wow, everyone has 90 and 92. On their body, huh? This one's a bit above. Besides, now, the privacy that changed to a partner from the past is 0, so she's showing some little houses to the guy, all between 800,000 and 1 million. The problem for John is that he knows the critical hit system doesn't activate above 1 million. That is, it had to be just below that. She asks if he wants other options, while he's trying to figure out how he's going to get several that are as close as possible to 1 million to guarantee the critical hit on them. He asks if it's possible to negotiate those properties there. They're close by. From 1 million, if she could lower the price of each one to 500,000, he would pay for 5. Now live and in color, she's a bit surprised. But he's going to pay for all of them at once, and he said yes. Pays now, and even puts her in charge of managing the rent for the 5. The sly one already knows that the commission plus what she would earn monthly from taking care of 5 houses would be totally worth it. So she said she'll do it now, while the sucker who decided to ignore him, right man, is hiding at the door. Wanted to know why this weird kid has so much money. An hour later, the manager shows up, saying the contracts for the 5 are done and the girl will take 2% commission. The protagonist says that's perfect. He trusts Cha to manage everything and will call in the future for new purchases. The sly girl is all love-struck because even with 2%, she made a crazy amount of money from this. Critical hit activated. And obviously he grabs a bunch of 50 by 40x. If he had bought the 800,000 ones, the total difference in multiplication would be huge. Besides that, he levels up for having spent a lot of money, and now earns 0.8 in 1 year. Every second, the little pro already decides that if the system rewards like this, he's going to have to spend a bit more. Right away, he calls his aunt saying he wants to have a talk with her. He's saying this while she's imagining the little pro saying this won't be the last time. The girl is biting her fingers, thinking capitalism doesn't do this to good workers, right? Girl, oh poor thing, she's just suffering mental illusions from making a little money. But even so, she's fixing things. Girl, there's a story with this girl. She told her little pro that maybe not tonight, they should get to know each other better. He, however, confused, wants to know what she's talking about. He's just asking for her bank account. She wants to know why, and he answers that she's the lucky star, and he wants to have the chance to meet her again. Other times, all this because he received the 50x there, right? But obviously the poor girl is thinking something completely different. A few minutes later, he sent another 35,000 Chinese coins to her, and sent a K-pop dance with his hand on his head. I don't know what the hell that is. The damn thing earned him over 200 million, so that's totally reasonable. The friendship level is now at 85, and the badass is showing what being rich means. The mindset changed, right? Now she's up for a little dinner tonight, and the prototype sent a transfer of 50 to 80. Clearly the rich guy's move. He switches WhatsApp. The girl is already delirious now, imagining herself in the slaughterhouse and thinking maybe if today isn't so fast with this for the team. On the other hand, she's already saying goodbye, saying he'll come again. But she gets a bit confused, right? She thought he was going to invite her to something else, but he's just in the car talking about the ego star. Crazy. The little prototype is at home, son. He has a mom and dad. What a rarity in these stories. Usually those guys have been dead for 15 years. The mom cut watermelons for the sucker. The dad wants to know why. He didn't go on the school graduation trip. He says he wants to visit Shanghai because he's thinking about enrolling in the university there. Crazy. The dad, open-handed son, just says it's okay. So he's going to transfer the money for the trip, while the mom says not to spoil the boy like that. Otherwise, he'll become a mama's boy, and no girl will want him. The little prototype is thinking that maybe that really affected him in his past life, that he was a sucker, right? He was Batinya, but this time, he guarantees he'll get a good daughter-in-law. The next day, we're on the plane. And the little prototype is sad because he bought economy class. Since all the seats were already taken, he's going to sit in his seat there, when suddenly you accidentally bump into someone. But as always, in these steamy stories, they happen everywhere, man, and obviously she's just another victim. The girl's name this time is Zaza Wing. Our little guy explains, right? That's his seat there. She said it's just a coincidence that she's nearby. And deal with it. Damn it, my daughter's still in diapers. What's this? Those two are chatting when the famous Batinho shows up calling for the beautiful lady, saying it's an honor to travel next to her. This is going to be an amazing trip. The little guy had taken a window seat, but tell Zaza Wing to stay there. But Batinho isn't going to let this slide. No way, he says. Brother, that seat is the lady's. You can't just swap seats on a plane like that, dude. But he says they're together, and there's no need to give him any info. Then he sits down, but the VTuber fan doesn't stop, right? Say, miss, you're going to Shanghai, right? Man, in midair. She's going to jump out of the plane, open a parachute, and land somewhere else. She's not going to Shanghai, you bastard. She completely ignores poor Batinho and wants to know, right? What John Chom is going to do in Shanghai. She's going for work. He said it's nothing special, just a simple trip. She said it's great to take a vacation. The poor guy is just hanging out in the corner, saying he also spent a year in Shanghai and knows there are lots of scammers there. He warned her to be careful not to fall into traps at the hotels. Besides that, he says he's staying at a very nice hotel, that his dad arranged everything, and if she wants, he can take her there. But clearly Zaza Wing is just looking out the window, completely ignoring him. And right away, he says, buddy, don't worry, okay? I already booked a taxi. She's with me, so there's no need to worry. But beforehand, besides a couple, right, he now saw an opportunity to humiliate our boy and wants to know which hotel he's at. Silver says it's at some place called the Manhwa. At that moment, the kid is scared, man. It seems like it's a resort that's extremely expensive to book. Right away, the guy says it's weird. If he's at such a nice hotel, why did he come on this plane in economy class? He stayed there too, and usually they don't pick you up at the airport. Silver says he rented a villa there, and the guy looks a bit surprised, but Wing knows that place costs about $80,000 per night. She didn't expect him to be that rich, no? He replies that he knows very well she's actually much richer. That's because at school, she wasn't just famous as one of the prettiest, but also, everyone knew that every time someone came to pick her up, it was Carlos Chaloso. Besides that, she was the type most guys didn't dare to look in the eye, yet still, she was always quietly studying. But back then, Pertino only cared about the hearings to get cheated on. He's such a sucker. It seems her family is having some problems, because she said she's no longer that second-generation rich type. Pertino notices the mood got a bit bad, so he decides to change the subject. And then they start talking about school days. As soon as she gets distracted, he notices the atmosphere is calmer. He decides to take a look at what really matters, the girl's stats. 18 years old, 5 feet 7. 96 appearance, 96 body. Damn, these girls are maxing out the scale already. Man, I want that. Do you know what 100 out of 100 means for an artist? Prachin is impressed. She already has a 75. In friendship, maybe she watched him at school and he didn't know. That's kind of weird, isn't it, girl? Arriving at the airport when suddenly, whoa, girl, you came to meet him dressed like that. I think you're wearing the wrong outfit for the job, but oh well, right? She's there to meet him today. She's going to be his private driver, isn't she? The little plate says the Amigam Hotel is very professional. I'm talking about their professionalism. And if our boy wants to know where this wing is going to stay, who says she's at a friend's house, which is in the opposite direction. So she's just going to take a taxi. He, however, says there's no way he's letting her get in a taxi. They're going to take her there. Meanwhile, In Chen is hiding there, fuming, saying that this beauty can't suffer at the hands of a scoundrel like that. A while later, a Zoe's handler arrives, and she asks for our boy's WhatsApp. He tells her not to forget the promise and starts scanning the code. Apparently, Hanshin was on the hunt to find a moment to humiliate the boy. But now that he left her there, right, son? There's not much more he can do. Half an hour later, our little guy is at his house. Thinking it really was the perfect choice, he decides to take a shower. Suddenly, the fierce one arrives to help, confusing him. He asks if it's a full service. She turns around telling him to wake up to life. She's only there to clean his back. He still finds that a bit weird, right? He says it's very necessary. But she, with a little glove, just keeps telling him to come closer, that this is part of the treatment. The guy already sat down there, right? Thinking it really was comfortable, not to mention that she looked very good. If there were special services, he would never complain. Imagination runs wild, right? He's already imagining her offering additional services. She asks why he looks like he's burning up. The water temperature was too hot, while he's just trying to understand how he kept calm in that situation. He tells her to tell him a bit about her routine to help him relax. And she says that tonight there's going to be a reception for a VIP event and wants to know if he wants to participate. He asks what the reason is, and she says there are a few platinum members who are going to auction off some jewels. He wants to know if there's any special clothing required. She said no, just go there, nothing special about it. We already see her arriving with our boy, saying he's in the village. Titanic. So he wasn't supposed to respect the kid. She says goodbye to our boy, telling him to enjoy it, and then leaves. Wow, it really didn't faze the victim. We didn't even get to know the name, no friendship or anything, tell us. Walking down the NPC corridor, he saw a bunch of people talking there. 5 million for million. The auction is going on, gold Rolex. Everyone's excited, shouting, making bids, and the little protege from the future knows the price will go up a lot. So he comes in and immediately bids 15.5 million, but the crowd isn't going to let that slide, man. I'm already there, bidding 16, 17, 18. People are impressed that the kid's at 35. Our boy really came to bet aggressively. The old man bangs the hammer 3 times on 18 million, and with that, it's sold. Right then, some guys showed up. Kind of peculiar, right? Introducing themselves as Wang Zheng and King Feng. The little paw is a bit suspicious, right? What do these rich kids from Shanghai want with him? A blonde kid named King Feng says he was the number 8 bidder, and he wanted that watch. But apparently the boy really liked it. He was an expert in luxury watches. Young said he's not experienced and doesn't study. Actually, this was the first time he bought one because he wanted to try something new. The guy says it's crazy, What kind of person buys a watch for the first time? For 18 million, a person like that. He should have already seen our boy around. He said it's because he just arrived in Shanghai today to go to university. The guy keeps praising, saying that when he was 18 years old, he wouldn't have had all that boldness. Boys, tell our boy that they should hang out when they have more time in the future. Huh, that's a peculiar guy, huh? I don't know. He's looking pretty cool like that. You know the world belongs to the smart ones, son. So if you're not the smart one, you're the sucker. That's the talk, but with the watch expenses. He leveled up the system again and now earns 1 and 1 per second. He knows that for many people, that's a secret, right? Something that changes lives. But for him, who's aiming to become a magnate, right, man? It wasn't such a big deal when he was climbing the ladder. He notices her, it's Air Kong, right? He calls her bye-bye. Let's just call her bye-bye. That's better. And the fierce one is all dressed up. He recognizes her, saying she's the girl from that night. He says that really, she was one of the best companions he's ever had. The night was wonderful. He even got paid. She, however, grabs him saying she's mad. She thought she was helping a poor 18-year-old student, but apparently he's got money. But now the fierce one is attacking, through her arm, around his back, and said he really is a student. He needs new lessons. And rented a villa in this area. Why don't they stop by there after this, girl? The girl has a little motor control problem with her tongue, and says she drank a lot, and he's going to have to work hard. Crazy. But at that moment, someone tells bye-bye, standing still. It's the guy named Zhangguei, her ex-fiancé. He's saying she's not going to do anything. But she just replies that what she does won't be enough for him. He grabs her arm and man, it's Bettina warning that no matter what happens, they're going to get married. Crazy. But it's not really Bettina, because she said that not even. Ferrari is going to marry the guy who messed around with her friend. He, however, points right at her and warns that the engagement party has already happened, and the family's agreed. No matter what happens, she's going to be forced down the aisle. Damn, but she said he's disgusting, and just wants to use her as cover while he goes out. To have fun with men and women. The guy decided to make use of 100% of the available population. Then, the system gives 2 options to our dude. He can leave and get a Ninja Turtle costume, or he can slap this guy twice in the face, gain triple physical strength, and get a bad luck card. John Shane says he won't be a coward in this life, man. When the system says this strength could improve, things like speed, power, recovery ability. Right away, he slaps the guy the first time, still charging up his aura, you know, saying the guy lost all rights when he betrayed her. So it was better for him to get out of there. He gave him another slap. What the hell, Pertinia? Are you going to stomp on the guy's skull? Son, take it easy too, you'll get arrested. My boy. Meanwhile, he also gained 10% more friendship with the girl. Meanwhile, the rest of the hotel staff arrives to take the boy who's all beaten up. He's calling the police because he was assaulted. But the hotel, man, doesn't want to call the police at all. It's full of millionaires here, and that would only mess things up for everyone. It was better for that damn kid to keep quiet and goodbye, they said. To our guy not to worry, because if he calls the police, she'll say that that bastard was bothering her and provoking her, and that's why he did it. The fool, however, is right there in the middle and says he's going to call the police. They check the cameras, and everyone here is going to pay for this. But in the background, there's a human holding a machete, saying that his damn wife is messing with someone there, man. Oh my God. Better let him in, because he's going to wipe out everyone. Now the little angry guy is already on the ground, begging to be spared, and damn, son, there's already one who didn't even get the first lick on the neck. Then the little protector gets 2 options. One was to run away with the key, buy, and earn 300 in cash, nothing special. The second was to stop the criminal, gain 5 in appearance. And also the skill to be a masseur. Apparently, it's the Gigolo MC system here. He only gains skills related to making girls happier. The only reason the protector isn't stopping the crime is because he's going to save that angry guy. However, more important than that, dude, was the skill he was going to need. Right away, he activates the upgrade card. He got to slap the kid as he needed to stop him. A thief decides to put all his strength in, immediately feeling his muscles strangely strong. Then, when the guy's getting close, man, he anticipates and lands one right in the mouth, sending the guy crashing into the wall, both the bye-bye. And poor Batinho would be impressed, wondering how he did that. Everyone at the party wants to know who the badass is that took down that guy. With one punch, even the cop thanks this kid, saying he really is a hero. If it weren't for him getting involved, the situation could have been much worse, but man, oh my God. Obviously the angry guy wants to suffer more in life, right? He goes to report to the police that this guy hit him. He has violent tendencies and shouldn't be trusted. But the cop turns around asking the people if that's true. And right then the woman shows up, man, ready to ruin the cuckold's life for good. She says that's not true, that this guy wanted to trick her. Force a marriage, family problem. The cop is there, just a guy. Got it. While the protagonist realizes she really explained the whole story and already thanks her, saying he would never let that Zangu do anything against her again. The cop warns that they're not there to discuss emotional situations. The crisis was resolved. They're leaving. Zangu wants to insist, while the protagonist realizes that bastard really doesn't give up and has no remorse. He wants to check the cameras, so it's time for him to see that thing about the unlucky card. Damn, man, it throws bad luck on the person. Right then his phone rings, and they inform him that it seems someone managed to withdraw $200,000 from his bank account. He's shocked and says it wasn't him. Wherever that money went, they have to recover it. A woman comes running, screaming desperately, saying someone was messing with his car. Hit a tree. What the hell, man? The unlucky card is really violent, man. The guy rushes out, desperate to see what's going on. Oh, bye-bye. I think it's an incredible coincidence, while the protagonist tells her that cruel people always suffer in this life. I'd say honest people suffer too. The world is unfair, my friend. Unfortunately, just because you're in that room with that moon-shaped ass, you think everyone has that good life, damn it. Here we go, right? She said her big sister. We'll have to check if he got hurt in that fight. And then she asks if he minds, right? That she has a fiancé like that. The protagonist says he doesn't. He's just surprised that the guy is really acting like that. She explains that her grandfather was extremely sick and to be at peace. She had no choice but to marry that guy because his family had money. But that's what she found out. That guy also liked men and got involved with her friend. The protagonist said not to worry, that she didn't have to suffer anymore. I think it's amazing that he really doesn't care about that relationship. Oh, but why you think he doesn't care, huh? What does he want from you, girl? Then he pulls her close and leans on the chin rest, telling her not to worry, that he would take care of her. The next day, the poor maids had to clean the whole room. And shortly after, our boy was at the restaurant. One of his friends posted in the school group that it was his birthday and he got a fancy watch. Our boy suddenly found that interesting and asked to borrow the legs from the girl for his birthday. She was a bit confused, wondering if it was really his birthday. He said it wasn't exactly that, but just give them here, woman. She said okay. Then she started posing here. Posing there, posing over there. My God, why did she step on the toast there? I think the artist got my friend excited. You keep your personal preferences out of the story. Please. The little protagonist took pictures of everything, thinking it was fine. At 18, he didn't get a car, but the speed of this machine was unmatched. He sent it to the friends group, and everyone was shocked. Crazy. Some guys got a house, another got a car. One got an RTX 5090, and they all preferred a woman. Not to brag, but about 50. 90, man, that's powerful. Shortly after, he arrived at the car dealership, damn it. Showed everything. She was already there. Look here. There's that one over there. But as always, right, son, there's a bald short uncle with a hot girl next to him trying to show off his money. Even the girl is getting excited, saying that buying a car like that would be way too serious. But he says, girl, I'll pick you up every day when you start your recordings, and you need to be comfortable. A sunken shorty, but she says that's not necessary. She just wants to be the lead protagonist in the story, and she promises she'll work diligently. This whole discussion is going on while the big boss is arriving, listening to everything. He recognizes her as a badass named Su Wan, who in a few years will become one of the entertainment goddesses. Looks like it's a peculiar kind of entertainment, huh? Because she got famous from a set of photos at the pool. The bird's nest guy is there saying she can just pick whichever car she wants. Then they go out drinking, but the girl seems like she wants to escape from the old man, saying she has a date at the company and has to leave. But the dude, with Vegeta's entrance style, warns that it's better if she comes with him, otherwise the investment in her won't happen. And she should know that if she refuses, she'll be blacklisted from the industry. Damn, but the girl is tough, girl. She says no matter what Mr. Wong says, she won't give in and he can do whatever he wants. Whoa, rare sight, huh? She stood up to the bald old man. The little boss even activated the little mission there, and obviously, he had to get her out of that situation and make her sign a contract, so he would receive special perks. The little boss knows the easiest way was to prove he was financially capable, so he asked to check the conditions. For buying a LaFerrari, it must be that LaFerrari, it has to be, right? The woman said it's a limited model, so he'd have to pass several tests before becoming a VIP just to be able to buy it. He asks if he's not qualified. She says if he really wants it, it's not impossible. He asks what the condition is, and she says the waiting list is pretty long. Most people don't want to leave their money tied up there. So, yeah, sometimes there are some spots he can kind of take over. He said, that's all good. He's there to pay in cash. The girl is wide-eyed, man, dude. He's not scared, while that swan chick is already interested. Even that boss Wong who likes to act rich. Doesn't matter. He uses it all day. The woman tries to explain that he probably doesn't understand the amounts, right, dude? It's 50 million won, about $7 million. But he just says that was an acceptable amount. Suddenly, that king phone guy shows up again, saying that he heard someone was about to buy a lottery ticket and he came to check it out, right? Who is it? He didn't imagine it was our guy. The rookie is the gold standard of the money world, right, girl? The credit card saint. And he casually says there, yeah, I arrived in Shanghai yesterday. I don't have a car, so I came to buy one here casually. Which, well, is kind of confusing, right, buddy? Casually, isn't it? Clearly you're flexing on that. The Thai guy asks briefly if he's his friend, and he says he met John Shin yesterday, who was buying an 18 million watch. Really, he could trust that the guy had the money. The old man sees he's got a badass watch on his wrist, is sure he has at least some cash, already thanks the boy for choosing them, and says that. With a watch like that on his wrist, money definitely shouldn't be a problem. Meanwhile, the old man is looking from the corner, and that swan chick is already all itching. She had never seen a second-generation rich casually spend that much money. Which, well, she's sure the kid is spending that much. He must have passed the 100 million mark, or even more. Then, dude, like, hey, you damn. Stop staring at the kid there. Go sign that contract already. Then I'll buy the car for you. You'll be happy. But she keeps refusing, saying there's a certain meeting to go to, but then the old man storms off in anger, saying he's tired of chatting with her, and she better prepare to be blacklisted by all the companies. Before she could react, someone calls her, dude. Suddenly it's the protege, right? Saying he overheard the conversation about that investment she missed. She doesn't have to worry, because if the old man didn't invest, he will. Oh, poor thing. She's kind of confused, right? Doesn't even know who the guy is, dude. I'd be scared. At least she's sure that financially, this guy goes head-to-head with President Wong. On the other hand, she's not willing to sleep with anyone at all. The damn girl says that. But she's all excited, jumping around, asking for Richard from our boy, saying they'll talk tomorrow. He said that's fine. Contacts exchanged. That's what the little duck wants to know, right? How much he's going to earn, the car, and the old man says it'll take at least a year. That was the minimum. The fool John had to make it clear he's a poor guy who just got some money, right? Had no idea this damn car would take so long. Now he's all bent out of shape, realizing he's going to be stranded. But then this King fam, who I still find suspicious, says there's going to be a show of foreign brands. Imported. They can go check it out together. The scene, however, shifts to Henry's restaurant. Later that night, Chelsea, all wrapped up, looking like a Christmas present. Girl, why do you have so many random pieces of clothing? You look like an RPG doll. He takes her to the table. And in theory, it's the most expensive food there, but the tough guy said the only thing he wants to eat, right? It's all wrapped up there, man. She asks for a break and suddenly kisses him on the cheek. But then John Sheen shows his boldness, sits down, and immediately talks about another woman, wanting to know if she knows her at all. Swan says bye-bye because she's an artist. She works at the same company as her, but by chance he liked her. The protagonist said that's not the case. He only sees potential in the girl that she thinks of as Xiao Xiao. Finally, looking cuter from a more conservative angle. He says the company doesn't pay much attention, but she has a good chance to develop. Crazy, and she still tells our guy that she doesn't need to hide if he likes her. She can even help. She doesn't mind that. He, however, gives a gentle touch, tells her to stop being a fool. Besides, he wants to treat her well, the bye-bye. He wants to know if he's planning to invest in this woman. He said yes. He wants to put some funds into her project, the bye-bye. Bye-bye said not only will he have to pay the penalty, but he'll also have to run the company himself. And like a good protagonist, he's already wanting to put Chow Chow to work and let her handle everything. He knows since he has enough money to support the company, with the system, just put someone talented in charge. And there's no mistake. Chow Chow, however, said she doesn't want to be a shareholder, no. She just wants a normal salary, and that's fine. She'll just manage operations, and, however, says there's no way she'll handle everything, and she will get shares for sure. She's going to work hard and make me money. The poor thing, however, with the fool, right, is all emotional, thinking he's being an angel. While she's all emotional there, The phone is ringing. It must be that Wan Wuan, calling the passionate guy, and we're already on the next day. The furious one getting into the car. Son pulled that thing stuck out her ass. The fierce one getting into the car. The kid pulled that thing stuck in her butt out. And our boys are already asking where we're going. Blue Hotel in Blue. And we're arriving at the restaurant. He asks what kind of story they were planning to make if it was something big. She says it was an amazing drama. The total investment was $5 million. But he doesn't seem very interested. $5 million isn't enough to make something incredible these days, no. She explains it's a small production. Costs have to be cut. Besides, the most important thing was the story. She asks if he wants to take a look at the script, but he says no. He's just there to discuss investments. She finds it strange that he doesn't even want to see the script of the story, but he just says he's interested in investing now. However, he has one condition. She would have to sign an exclusivity contract with his company. She says that doesn't make sense. She was still a mediocre artist, and he would have to pay the penalty. The protagonist says that's not a problem, but Swan is already thinking, right? That what he's really after is something else. She's not an innocent, naive girl in this world, and knows very well that he's trying to kill two birds with one stone. He gets an actress and also a night companion. But she shakes her head, saying no way. She has stayed loyal all these years. And it's not now that she's going to lose it. And if she wants to know what kind of entertainment company he has, he said he hasn't made it yet, but soon. It will be ready. Besides, he talked with Chow Chow, who revealed that she wasn't very valued where she was working. Now the girl is all smiles, wanting to know, right? What the special requirements are. The friendship is 50. The protagonist knows that 50 basically means the same as being strangers. If he asks for her best, she might even accept, but it won't be because she wants to, since for him, it wasn't fun. So then he says that if she becomes an artist in his company, he's not going to ask her to make any kind of inappropriate contact. Suddenly, the girl is way too excited. The friendship is on the rise. She already wants to know if she can call him boss. He says she's too bossy and tells her to call him big brother. Talk goes back and forth. He finishes the mission of hiring her and, with that, receives 20% of the shares of an investment company called Henry Chong. The system says it did all this legally. And if he wants, he can even check the files. Crazy guy, he still thinks that now. At least he has a way to explain to his father how he got so rich. I think showing documents of what you bought doesn't explain much, but whatever. However, he calls his father, tells the little story, that he invested in this company. It grew, and now he's going to get a monthly income of more than 600,000. Mom is there in the hula hoop, telling the old man to get ready because the son is about to surpass him. Meanwhile, the little protege already wants to know if they want any little gifts that he'll bring for both of them. But now it's trendy in stories that families are kind. They don't ask for anything. Not even your little duckling invites her mother out. She says she'll go wherever the sugar daddy wants. He said he's just going to look at some pieces, and with that, they're in a watch store. And the motto is, nobody buys a luxury watch. You just keep it safe for the next generation. Wow, the sucker rich guy for real. Our boy is arriving there. As always, there's going to be an old man with another hottie next to him. Who's going to be left wanting, right, dude? Looks like someone recognized Miss Swan, who says she's accompanying a friend of hers, who came to check out the watches. The friend there, however, with the green headband, thinks she's a fool. There are countless handsome guys in the entertainment industry. She shouldn't waste time with a guy like that, but rather meet a rich guy, my girl. Your socks are ripped, girl. Clearly, her situation in France isn't looking too good. Oh, crazy. The girl has 78 friends from the past. What's this warrior working overtime beyond just 20% friendship that our boy? The old man is asking Rue who this junior is. She says it's just a random girl involved in some small, unknown drama. The guy, however, introduces himself as one. Hi, and says he's an investor in the film industry, right? And if she's interested, she can just take his card. Ah, Mr. One, however, knows that girl in the background. Girl is a much lower tier actress than her. But she does well in the industry because she uses other parts of her body to do that acting work. She just thanks it for the card to avoid further talk and leaves. Meanwhile, the shopkeeper wants to know what kind of watch our boy is looking for. The little guy is in the store to buy a watch for his mother. The guy offered one for $380,000, which he thought was cheap, but it's at least $500,000. The guy from the street is just listening from the corner, wondering what kind of person calls a $380,000 one cheap. Meanwhile, it's cheap. Meanwhile, Swan is in the corner, just laughing at the suffering of the fool who tried to humiliate her. The little guy asks if Swan wants a watch, but she says no, she doesn't have money to buy one. Obviously not. She said the perfect phrase for the mission system. For him to buy a watch for her. So, He already says if she wants, he'll buy one as a gift. She said no way. She'd rather earn the money and buy it herself. Meanwhile, her friend is watching from outside, thinking this girl is an idiot. Besides that, this guy is trying to show off in front of everyone, probably just going to look at several watches and leave without buying anything. Then, the shopkeeper is putting watches on our boy's wrist. She says it's looking really beautiful. She'll fix it on the wrist, and he says it's perfect. He likes it really tight, and this guy here is a real boss. Hey, you weirdo, stop with these back and forth jokes, man. The rookie, however, noticed that the under 18 friend there isn't all there upstairs, right, kid? He tells the shopkeeper to prepare both. The guy's kind of in shock, right? The girl who already defeated 6 soccer teams. Looks scared there, kid, apparently. The bastard really wasn't just trying to show off. He had money. Yeah, the rookie is also asking Swan to take a look at the women's watches there. She was supposed to pick 2. The guy shows one all covered in diamonds, a fierce one worth 150,000. The girl puts it on her wrist and already gets all excited. She tries to be humble and asks for 380,000, but even so, the rookie tells them to charge more on the card. Son, what's with these two too? She's there all silly, touching her arm, thanking. But she says she shouldn't be walking around with something so expensive like that. He tells her not to worry because she's still going to make a lot of money for him. But even so, she doesn't want to accept and says it's better if he gives both to his mother. But he says the one on her wrist only suits a young woman, and his mother would laugh if she went around with something like that. He asks if she's really going to refuse, and she's there, right? Not really knowing what to say, but she says it's okay. He really was a generous boss. At that, the guy already brings the card, saying the payment had been approved, and that street girl is fuming. How could a filthy girl like Swan have a better watch on her wrist than hers? Obviously, the old man is getting excited there, right? He asks for a model he knows doesn't exist. He's already leaving, saying it's a shame it's not available. They come back. Then the salesman asks if Miss Linho wants to leave a reservation. She wants to look at another one, but obviously, she doesn't have money either. She just says they'll talk later, and at that point, the mission was complete. Just says they'll talk later. Meanwhile, he had a complete mission. Getting a triple cashback. Oh man. And the boy is really ready to spend, dude. We went to the back store. It's the same thing, right? He got there, took a look, said he'd take it. Right away, the girl at the counter was totally impressed. Said they're VIP customers now. The sly girl was all shaking. But at night we arrive at Swan's house, who obviously makes an offer, right? Asking if he wants a glass of water. He, however, plays it safe and says it's dangerous. He might end up going upstairs and something could happen. Oh man. And she just left, dude, thanking him while he walked away. Ah, that was the villain's tactic, right, man? He said he wasn't going. And then she was disappointed that he really didn't know, right? He wasn't interested in that. My girl, what kind of positions are you imagining? My God. Oh, artist, come on, let's calm down a bit. Man, this isn't a gymnastics floor, no? Dude thinks he's at the Olympics coming home. The maid is there waiting for our boy, right? Who, as always, is swimming there, while she's holding the towel like a fool. She's impressed because, in all the years she's worked here, it's very rare someone stays in these VIP rooms for more than 2 days. However, it looks like he's going to stay there a week. Definitely, she had to offer impeccable service for that. The guy wants to know what's unique and special to eat in this place. She says the hotel has Chinese food, Italian, French, Japanese, all the best. There was even a special golden fish with truffles from who knows where. He thanks her. Apparently he wants that. But he also asked for a massage, right? And here we go, son. I'm already scared. This boy is always in those little underwear of his, with some birds all crooked there, and the poor guy now thought the massage was going to be easy. But he's being affected by gravity. Besides, it seems there were even aromatherapy things, so he's impressed, while the friend just tells him to sit and relax. Apparently the newbie is confused, wondering if this is part of the package, or if something else is going on. Man, I don't think I know how complete the service was, right? But she says she'll wait for him tomorrow, because she's going to take him to the car meet. I really think it was something normal, because he's there thinking he let his imagination run too wild. Next day, we're at the car event, and for God's sake, our protagonist is wearing the worst style I've ever seen anyone wear. Dude, what kind of awful tie is that? And it seems that King Phone guy, the blonde messed up at the newbie, showed up at the last minute. But it's not like he needed that guy to spend money. So he's going to check everything out. The only problem was that the cars were kind of below his expectations. The most expensive so far was $2.2 million. But then he sees a crowd around one car. Interested, he decides to take a look. However, when he gets there, What's really drawing attention is Za Wing, that girl from the plane. Huh, wasn't she the innocent girl from the classroom, focused on her studies? What's she doing here, girl? And of course, there's the obvious yes. Polina wanting to know what time her shift ends, saying they're going to take her to a date. Now, the friend next to her tells him not to even ask, because she thinks she's too good for everyone there, but someone is kind of unsure what to answer. While the newbie shows up. Ah, those are his school friends. And he wants to know what kind of school meeting this is that no one invited him to. Then one of the guys says he didn't think he was going to come, and the newbie asks if maybe he wasn't supposed to show up. Really? One of them is thinking they intentionally used another group. So he doesn't find out, then what is he doing there? The guys are watching from the side, whispering about him. Meanwhile, the girls want to know what happened. It hasn't been long since they last saw him. He even looked more handsome. Did he come all the way to Shanghai, by any chance? To get some surgery, poor guy. Send a green-haired one over and say the boy is better, but still not ready to confront him. Young laughs and just asks, right? What is everyone doing there? Did they come to buy a car? The girl in the clown dress says no way. As if they have money for that. They just ran into some friends at the door. And came to take some photos. That's why, you know. They found out that Zhaoling, who was a classmate, was there. So everyone got interested in that, the protagonist notices. Or something impressive, man. His friend who just left school. Already had 30 friends from the past, besides that. Her friendship score was already at 90, meaning it was going to be easy. The purple-haired friend only had 2 friends in the past. Her friendship was at 75, wow, but she has 85 in appearance. Man, the metrics here are really messed up. I'd say she's more like 60, or she's hiding something special. I don't know, the protagonist, however, wants to know why these girls' friendship scores were so high. They didn't even like him, didn't talk to him in class. The orange-haired guy wants to know what he's daydreaming about, what he's doing there. Meanwhile, our protagonist ignores everything and says hi to Za Wing, saying she looks more beautiful than that day. She's all leaning in. Want to know if he came to check out the cars too? He said yes. He wants to buy one. Miguel Lara already tells him to wake up to reality, man. The same guy who rides an electric scooter to school, talking about buying something like that. The guy starts listing the prices of several cars, and the protagonist congratulates him, right? Saying that the class president really knows about supercars. It was just a shame that he didn't buy a damn thing, Pertinia. That was ungrateful, huh? The school thought the guy was free like that. Man, even Wing asked them to stay away from that mess. They're disturbing the girl's work, causing a crowd to argue. The dude suddenly slaps his own face and says he came here looking for a car because his family said it's a gift for getting a good score on the university exam. She, a bit weird, tells him to ask other women because she doesn't understand anything about cars, but the boy is unstoppable, right? He says he feels better, learning everything from her. Yang tries to help the girl, saying, buddy, she already said she doesn't understand, right, man? Or are you just here to chat with the goddess? The guy tells Yang to stop interfering. He's just being a pain too. But then Pertinia asks if, in case he buys the car, the model comes along. Oh, just that. Wing is laughing, telling him to stop joking, and the friend says the same, right? Like he suddenly has money to do that. Her manager arrives there and warns that she doesn't earn 2,000 a day to be chatting with the friend. Poor thing got scolded. Pertinho still says, man, dung. You were there talking to the girl and made her suffer at the bar. How irresponsible. Then Pertinho tells the dealer the car isn't that good, but the model made it look nice. And he wants to know if she comes along at the time. The boss checks his watch and tells the boy the vehicle definitely comes with paint to protect the film. I don't know what the double entendre was here, but our boy says it's just a matter of swiping the card. So the school friends want to know if he's lost his mind and will go through with this embarrassment. Like he had the money. 8 million to spend just like that. That's the body collector right there, man. Obviously now, she's all hyped up on the tri-milk. That idiot Dong tells Jin Shang to stop acting so high and mighty. He was about to make a fool of himself here, do the wings, and lose his job. Comprota, however, says he's buying the car exactly because of her. She's the one who's going to come out ahead, and the boss says he agrees. If the kid really buys it, the commission goes to Zawing. Oh man, her friendship level is already at 82. Huh? Girl, things escalate fast, and Zodong wants to know if the kid is really going to try the legendary trick of, hey, my card is frozen. I'll call someone here and make the money disappear, but he just tells the boss to swipe the card already, man. Because he's in a hurry about this. The transaction is complete, and the guy is already praising the kid, saying he'll prepare the paperwork now and ask Zhao Wing to take care of the kid. Zodo is confused. How the hell did this bastard just drop 8 million out of nowhere? The greenhead is in disbelief. Apparently the kid was keeping a low profile at school, and the other one is already at 95 friendship. Soon she'll have to go to the bathroom. To change clothes, she's offering to get in the car. But the purple-haired girl says it's a two-seater car, you know. There's no room for her, but the 95 friendship girl says Zhao Wing has to get back to work and sell more cars. Oh bro, but I want to understand why this girl's friendship level keeps rising. She really was strange. And then she takes the chance to poke at her, saying that only Zhaoya looks good in that car. This girl comments that she heard Pertinia broke up with Azalea. Apparently Azalea stole him. Her plan now is to make sure they feel uncomfortable, man. Azalea, but it seems like she's interested in that information, huh? Her plan now is to make sure they feel uncomfortable, man. Azalea, but it seems like she's interested in that information, huh? She thought Pertinia was with that Azalea girl, and Young is pissed about it, saying that I broke up with Zelda has nothing to do with Deerswing, even though he admits any guy would go crazy for her. Then the friend notices his watch, right, and says something's off. Turns out at school, he was just pretending. Pertinia said I was going to live a peaceful life. But now that he finished school, his parents decided to reward him, and he couldn't resist that. Sudong is telling the group it's better if they leave, right? There's nothing left to see there. But that stubborn girl insists at 95, inviting him to dinner later. Pertinia refuses and says they can talk. Later when he's in Hong Kong, she gets all excited, saying he has her number and just needs to call. Apparently, it's the city where he used to live. It's a place he should never go back to. Crazy. Pertinia, however, told Zarwin to get back to work, and that he'd take a look around. She thanks him, while he asks her not to be so polite since they're still classmates. Suddenly, a bright red car passes by, and the other girl comes over all interested, wanting to sell too. Man, the boy already imagines himself inside with the Zaza. He's really weird. This guy is also saying he has a peculiar soul. The woman explains the price was 9.5 million, but he starts trying sales tactics, saying he'll get who knows how many years of maintenance, whatever. But he just tells her to swipe the card. Also, he wants a delivery ceremony, right? He'll probably have the tea ceremony done in a totally amazing way. The woman said that's the least of it. He can definitely choose whatever he wants, and the delivery will be exactly as he plans. While they're talking, suddenly, a girl is making a little show by the car. She says something shiny about that red really gives off a feminine charm, and asks if any of the big brothers from the live stream are interested in buying this. The guys on the live stream are saying the car isn't that nice, but she insists that any girl who gets this would suddenly fall in love. She puts our boy on her stream, saying they can trust him, that this guy bought it and will definitely be fine if they hit 3,000 likes. She was going to do an interview with him, and he would share what he thinks about the car. Crazy, right? But then the saleswoman comes over to ask if she's there to buy or just to bother them. Poor guy, he got roasted. He's all confused, saying he just came to take a look. Come on, what's up with the saleswoman then? She asks him not to get too close or to prove he has enough funds to buy the car. The girl's a bit confused, saying she saw this kid get in the car and all that. And the girl explains that he had already bought it, that's why. On the live, the poor guys all feel sorry for the clown makeup, while Zhang is there thinking he can't believe the kid really spent 20 million just like that out of nowhere. 2 hours later, our kid finally got lazy, all the paperwork was signed, and the guy is handing over the keys. The system had even chosen his license plate. Man, right then the dude shows up delivering the plate, it's installed, and even the seller is kind of confused, shocked that the plate still had the initials JC. Yeah, Zhang Chong, that damn son of a gun, had money and influence. The kid says it's nothing special. He had reserved that plate way in advance, and that's it. But the seller didn't like that. He knows this kid is trying to hide his connections and thinks he's an idiot, but admits it's really impressive how much he plans ahead. The kid, all awkward, calls the assistant who has everything prepared, while the boss is still trying to figure out who this kid is. Meanwhile, the boss is still trying to figure out who this kid is, which family he belongs to. A few minutes later, Young arrives there, right? Thanking our boy for today, since they met by chance. She's leaving work, which is a dinner he was about to accept, when suddenly he gets a call. It's that green-haired friend, saying he got dumped, and if he doesn't come talk to him now and take care of him, he's going to jump into the river right then and die. The protector is kind of confused. Nothing, this crazy guy calling, damn. He was humble with a friend still, said they'd meet later. To drink and eat something. He's gonna have to help out his friend there. She, a bit embarrassed, said it was okay. She always thought the green-haired guy, like some girl named Shuya. Sometime later, the little protector arrives at the bar and asks if the bastard still wants to jump into the river. The guy tells him to shut up and sit down so they can talk. Then he says, I found out I'm a simp. Dude, can you believe it? I'm feeling really bad. She always bossed me around, but I thought she liked me. But it was just trash Dom giving her attention, and now she dumped me. The protector tells him to explain what happened. He says he followed those two, then saw them hugging, kissing, and doing many things that broke his heart. My God, there's nothing left for Batinya at all. The little protector said they hadn't even started anything properly, right? So why did his heart break so much? The guy keeps crying, but the protector says it's better if he doesn't get close. I think it's that girl who is already at 95. Says because poor Sudong is going to catch a disease, damn. And it went far. The little protector, the friend, tells him to explain. And our boy reveals that it seems her life was a mess. All he's going to tell his friend is that he got rid of a bomb. The friend says he understands, thanks him for the comfort, and they toast. Sometime later, he's taking a taxi. The little protector sits there to send a message in a car when suddenly some Sheen Lee shows up, dude. 65 partners, right? The artist is eager soon to outdo the record holder for 1,000 in one day, and the girl is saying this is her boyfriend's car. So he better pull his hand away and back off, or he'll have to pay for the damages. But suddenly, when she looks at him up close, out of nowhere, she's kind of confused and says she's drunk, and he looked a lot like her boyfriend. I think it's a seduction technique, right? The prota, however, then gives her a scolding, saying that she, on the other hand, doesn't look anything like his girlfriend. Wow, but this girl is so desperate, I think she wants to steal his kidney. That's right, kid, out of nowhere. She said she plays BG and knows 10 different ways to win the game. By chance, does he want to match with her? The Pertinho doesn't seem very interested. He just said he prefers Honor of Kings, right? Must be some other game. Then the streamer shows up there, asking if he was the one who asked someone to drive. He said yes. Wait, is the girl a guy? That's capitalism right there. It didn't work out. She said she works as a streamer. But in her spare time, she does Uber, right? Because to make some extra cash, it's not even Uber, it's like a designated driver. She just drives your car for you. And right then she's there, right? Telling the live stream she's impressed. Never imagined she'd find a Ferrari SF90. She's already stretching out, throwing herself on the hood. While the weird pubiti there is saying she also knows how to drive really well. Okay, but she says he doesn't like anything free in this life. It usually brings complications. But what he wants to know is if she's a streamer from capitalism or whatever. The girl works hard. Look at her, I felt sorry. If she really knows how to drive a supercar, and she tells him not to worry, that she used to have an automotive review blog and has driven several sports cars. Kid, this girl here is giving her all just to survive, man. Someone help this poor girl, and the stream just cut out. 0 partners in the past. For sure the newbie is going to freak out. Name's Bye-Bye Inin. Already in the car, she asks if she can stream, and the newbie says it's okay, right? But she really works like this every day. She explains that she doesn't always do live streams. But usually, she's driving back and forth. Even then, she sets up the car to record she's a pro. And starts to speed up, oh newbie. Then he sees that her live name is K. Almiai, thinking it's impressive. That she has 0 partners from the past. Anyone who looked would think. She was the easy type, and he sees that on her live. The biggest donor only gave 300, and that was pathetic, honestly. So he asks, right, dude, you got over 10,000 views and no one donates? Now it's clear why you have to work and drive. Man, it'd be easier if you just focused on driving. These lives aren't bringing in anything, damn dude. But then he wanted to roast the poor girl, saying, dude, you're broke. You don't make any money at all. Damn. You're a failure, woman. Not even using your body do you make cash. What's the poor girl gonna do, right? She says she's not good at getting donations. I'd say, you're exposing everything that's at stake here. But it's okay, right? Apparently, she attracted the weak money crowd. We sped up, we're almost home. She hands back the keys, and our guy says she really is skilled at driving. Everything was very comfortable and calm. And she just thanks him there, asking for a good review. Besides that, she wanted to know what kind of live streams he likes to watch. He says he only watches the wonderful ones. And she asks, right, if she counts as one of the wonderful ones, and yeah, maybe he could show a little support. For this poor girl, give her rank a little boost. He replies he doesn't know if he has that much money in his account. She, however, says that if he wants, he can invite her for a drink of water. Whoa, but wasn't she a zero? And now she's offering herself like that. What's going on here? Ah, the newbie seems to understand that she's creating some kind of drama on her live stream. Probably wanted him to pay the bills, make some donations, and then leave, right, without doing anything. But to him, she was walking around like a lamb, pray for the tiger, man. And then he already asks what kind of water she's interested in. She remembers that this looks like a normal conversation from a certain type of story and starts imagining. Weird things there, right, kid? Clearly, he was the type to just give likes. And in this video, folks, we just lost another money spender. I think now I've covered almost all the works of this genre, man. They're so good to narrate. It's so enjoyable, easy, chill. Sometimes we get tired of drama, thinking too much, and these here are the best there is. For when you just want to relax and have a little laugh. The good part is she's releasing, right, man? The bad part is it's because she's releasing that I covered all the chapters, there's nothing left. So we'll have to wait for the next part to come. And so you don't miss it, you activate it. Or whatever, I'm out.